Assalamu alaikum and welcome to this episode in our nightly series, Divine Messages, a journey through the Qur'an. Let's explore what tonight's divine message has in store for us.
هو القرآن والفرقان إليه تنصت الأكوان وفيه تعطر الآذان والقرآن.
Rabi'a ibn Ka'b al-Aslami, may Allah be pleased with him, was a companion of the Prophet ﷺ who was not well known. He was a young man, maybe around the age of 18, and he used to serve the Prophet ﷺ in all his needs. So he would wake up early in the morning and follow the Prophet ﷺ and do whatever the Prophet ﷺ needed. So he would spend his day very close to the Prophet ﷺ, following him in the masjid. Whatever the Prophet ﷺ needed, he would help him. And then he would follow the Prophet ﷺ until the end of the day with the last prayer of Isha and walk with the Prophet ﷺ until he entered his home. And then he would sit outside the door of the Prophet ﷺ and he would say, I would wait at the door of the Prophet ﷺ. Perhaps he would have a need in the middle of the night so that I would help him and serve him. But he would say, I would hear the Prophet ﷺ while he's inside his house mentioning Allah, praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And many times I would fall asleep. Now, Rabi'a was amongst those known as Ahlul Suffah. These were people who were poor and they did not have homes of their own. They didn't have wealth. They didn't have property. And many of them were not married. Amongst them was Abu Hurairah, a better known member of Ahlul Suffah. So Rabi'a was very impoverished, had no resources. And sometimes he would leave and go and sleep in the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ would feel sorry for these companions, and he would sometimes give them whatever resources he had, and he would ask the companions to give Ahlul Suffah from whatever they had. So one day the Prophet ﷺ sees Rabi'a, and he looks at him and he says, Rabi'a, ask me, what do you need so I can give you? So Rabi'a thinks, and he looks at the Prophet ﷺ and he says, give me some time, Ya Rasulullah, and I'll tell you what I want. So the next day the Prophet ﷺ sees Rabi'a and he asks him, have you thought of what I asked you? And Rabi'a says, yes, Ya Rasulullah. So the Prophet ﷺ says, what do you want? He says, I ask you that you pray for Allah that I become your companion in paradise, in Jannah. The Prophet ﷺ looked at him and said, thinking to himself, this is a young man, and for him to be asking just for this, even though he's impoverished, poor, has no resources, perhaps he has other needs. The Prophet ﷺ is expecting him to ask for money, to ask for property, to ask for a home, to ask for something else. He says, Rabi'a, anything else that you want? He says, no, Ya Rasulullah, this is all I want. I want to be your companion in paradise. The Prophet ﷺ says, you will get it, but assist me by increasing your prostration.
ذكر وموعظة ونور فيه شفاء للصدور.
Our discussion tonight is about Jannah, paradise, and the bounties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for the pious. The Prophet ﷺ tells us in a hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about the pleasures of Jannah, in which he says, I have prepared for my pious servants in Jannah what no eye has seen, no ear has heard of, and has not occurred to any mind. Imagine, the pleasures and the bounties in Jannah are something that no one can ever fathom or think or imagine of. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for the righteous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, no soul can imagine what delights are kept in store for them as a reward for what they used to do in this life. We can't even think of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for us in the hereafter as a reward. To further entice us, the Prophet ﷺ describes the structure, the actual building of Jannah. He says its bricks are made of alternating golden and silver bricks. The mortar that holds these bricks together is made of a fragrant musk. Imagine, you live in a structure that smells of a fragrant musk. The pebbles that are on the ground are pearls and rubies. The sand that lines the ground of Jannah is saffron. Imagine, this is the place in which the believers will live an eternal life. The names of Jannah, the names that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described Jannah: Darul Khuld, the eternal abode; Jannatu Adn, gardens of Eden; Jannatu Na'im, gardens of pleasure; Darus Salam, the abode of peace. All of these as enticements for us to compete, to rush towards the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What about the state of those who enter Jannah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, or the Prophet ﷺ tells us, whoever enters it shall live and shall not suffer, shall feel joy and shall not die, nor shall their clothes wear out, nor shall their youth come to an end.
ذكر وموعظة ونور فيه شفاء للصدور.
Today's divine message: إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون. The people of paradise on that day will be busy with the pleasures of paradise.